Hello and welcome to this speed build. So as you can see, we're building on the Pepper's Pub lot in Brightchester. Is that the name of the world? Look, I am terrible with names, okay? But it's the world that came with Discover University. And we're basically going to be continuing the modern shell builds. And this one, of course, then therefore is also just going to be a shell, so there's not going to be any furnishing on the inside. I love doing shells because, yeah, sometimes you're just a little bit busy with life, but you just want to do a little bit of something in The Sims because using build by is so much fun. Sometimes I have enough time to furnish and sometimes I don't have enough time to furnish, and when I do, then I post a full video of the furnishings. Or not, I usually post the shell and then the furnishings, but in every other case, I'll just have enough time to do a shell. And this one is actually super nice. Like I used a reference image, and if you've seen another video in this series, you may have heard me say before that I usually start with just one side of the build, looking at one reference image, and then after that I'll just start winging it, to try to put my own kind of flair on it. And of course, using a reference is nice. It isn't that I copy the reference exactly, I just kind of get like an inspiration of like where to begin. For example, what I want the interior room, one of the interior rooms to look like, or what I want, you know, the front, the facade to look like, for example, and then I'll just continue on from there. But one of the reasons why I really like this build is because I think it would be easy to convert it into a home if you really wanted to. But the main, I don't know, function I would assume a person would use it for is as an apartment. So if you're doing like an apartment-based Let's Play and you're looking for like a place for all of your Sims, you know, you have one household of Sims and you want them all to live together, or if you're planning on asking a person to be your roommate, which I think was also a function that came with Discover University, so that might be also something that interests you. So here, as you can see, we're just kind of starting to build a little bit into the interior, making sure that we have a good staircase that's going to allow you to go up to the second floor. And sometimes arranging the stairs is a little difficult. It's especially difficult if you're trying to build on more than one like level, because sometimes it doesn't like you stacking the stairs on top of each other, and the game just kind of doesn't recognize that it's possible for the staircase to go there because it keeps trying to drop it down to the first floor. But of course there's already a staircase there, so it's telling you, oh sorry, you can't do that. But I was able to get both of the staircases stacked on one on top of the other without too much trouble. And this also I did a while ago, but as you can see, it was after the rounded walls, or rounded rooms I think is what they're actually referred to as, because you can't just have a curved wall unless it's attached to floor, which is unfortunate, but yeah, it at this point it doesn't matter anymore. It's become a new feature that we work with, however the game is going to allow us to work with, and when we want to find a workaround, we work together to find the workaround. That's basically how I consider it. But as such, well, what I want to say is it is meant to be an apartment building. So as such, the lobby is quite small, and it's meant to kind of open up on the other floors with separate like apartments on either side. So if I'm not mistaken, I think there's either 5 or so, about 5 apartments altogether. And they will basically be copy pasted, which made it a lot easier. I like making builds where you can copy and paste a lot of stuff, because, you know, like apartment buildings are basically cookie cutter buildings, so you don't have to go too crazy. But they are pretty nice to look at. They're like, if you just, sometimes it's nice to just have an atmosphere, you know what I mean, like for your role play, for your Let's Play. And so this building would also be very suitable for that because it doesn't have any furnishings. It would make a really good backdrop, you know, just in the neighborhood. And I like building more modern style, so that's why there is a sort of section of just modern shells. I think that they are very easy for people who may or may not have a certain number of packs. If you're doing a shell, it's a lot easier to, you know, replace a wallpaper or replace a flooring that you might not have than it is to you know, if you download a completely furnished build, but the person who made it has a pack or two that you don't have, now you have to go around replacing maybe some important items. The game also tries to replace those items, but it always chooses the ugliest, like cheapest items to replace them with, which is unfortunate. But one of the nice things about finding things on the gallery is that, of course, there's a wide variety of things. And people will have things that are just base game. People will have things that are base game plus. But if you have a lot of packs, you can basically download almost anything and get started right away. But then the downside to that is, of course, if you don't have any packs, you know, you have to keep telling the selection, hey, I don't have this pack, I don't have this pack. And, you know, sometimes it can be kind of frustrating. But you know, having shells like this means that you can just pop it down and you can design it however you want and just get started however you like. And I think you may have noticed the weird shadows on one of the floors in the lobby. It's because there's a platform on the first floor. I wanted there to be like a little step down thing. And, you know, I complain about this in almost every video that I do. I don't understand why there's weird shadows with the platforms. I really wish that that was not a thing. I think when I watch other people's videos, I don't see it as often, so maybe it's just me. There's no way for me to know. But anyways, you can see the design is coming together. I kept the exterior pretty simple. It's a simple neighborhood as well, so I didn't think that I needed to go too crazy, you know, on what I wanted to have on the outside. And we have a few mailboxes, a place you can put a few bikes. Those, of course, also come with Discovery University. And a little bit of the landscaping around. There's not very much landscaping because it just wasn't necessary. But you know, changing up little things here or there, making sure that there's, you know, a tree here or there is nice to just give it a finishing touch, if you know what I mean. And this is probably one of my favorite little things that I've done. It's just really nice. It's just nice to look at. I don't know how to describe it. It just looks so pleasant to look at. I'd like to thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again in another video.